voices calling for the final fight. We will answer with victory. Yeah. Long have we fought for these lands, in the shadows and the stories of the promised land. Now to take our place beyond.
You're on the roof of the world, in the cradle of the stones, where faithful winds cut through the
Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Risen Esports Rampage Open Week 7 matchup between Stinkmeister Supreme and Magic. I am your play-by-play, it's Lemons, joined by my typical Friday night co-caster, Go Farino. Ready for these games? Are you ready, my man?
You know it. Yeah, as we are already in the pick and ban here, going through the bans, already have one off the board, that Lucian coming out from the SMS side. Probably a bit more of a target ban since Lucian, definitely not the most meta of AD carries right now.
Yeah, very interesting to see him taken off the board first, but it does provide that extra flexibility if you want to take him to the top lane, so you want to bring him anywhere else as well, even in the mid lane we've seen, so gonna have to take that one off the board, take away that flexibility. Now, the red side ban did come up with the Orianna, so very strong mid lane champion, going to provide that extra defense capability, but as well as the offensive capability that you're looking for. The Ornn is going to be followed up by that, so taking off some high profile bans. The Shen, though, is going to be Magic's next ban, which is not a typical one.
Yeah, because Shen a little bit removed from the meta right now, just due to how aggressive top lane can be with the damage, and he just isn't able to eat up a lot of those Conqueror champions. But in the right hands, I do believe he can perform fairly well, and I think he technically got some recent buffs to his jungle, but I wouldn't be holding my breath for jungle Shen, because even back in the day when you could technically play it, it was a very slow jungler.
So the thing is, though, is it does seem like he has the kit to be a jungler. I mean, you think about it, like, what do you want a jungler to do? You want a jungler to be able to show up, help their lane, and get the kill. That's exactly what Shen does, but it doesn't ever work out that way.
Speed is so awful.
It's like everything else goes wrong, but there's that one good day, like, maybe it could happen. Now, through all this, real quick, sorry, Go Farino, we did have Ari banned out as the last ban on the blue side, Senna banned out as the last ban on the red side, and then first pick Wukong coming out from the Stinkmeisters, and the response to that is going to be the Vayne, that hyper carry in the bot lane, or the top lane if you want to bring it there, followed with the Vel'Koz, which can be flexed to that support position.
Yeah, and I'm surprised the Wukong fell through the draft, because I mean, Wukong was just so broken on release. Even after the hotfix nerfs, he was still way too strong, and I think he even received some nerfs in 10.7, but he's still pretty strong, and it is definitely not a champion you want to let through the draft fairly often, but it has gone through nonetheless, and Vayne Vel'Koz pickup here in the bot lane as the first rotation was kind of a very risky choice on the part of Magic, because Vayne, you usually don't want to blind pick her, or at the very least, you don't want to blind pick her with a support, because you can get absolutely countered in lane, and Jhin Nautilus can brutalize that lane, the Vayne Vel'Koz, because if a hook lands on either of them, there's just a ton of CC to follow up that dredge line with, and should be a fairly easy kill. But like you said, the Vel'Koz, it can be support, it can be mid. We have seen Vel'Koz mid in the past, but we haven't actually seen a ton of Vel'Koz in general ever since his release. He's always been a little bit of a fringe pick.
Honestly, Magic coming out with the flex in the round one of the draft here. I mean, every single pick you have, you can flex to different positions, set all over the place.
Yeah.
Vayne, top or bot. You have Vel'Koz that can go mid or support. It's gonna be a crazy situation for the rest of the team selection here for Magic. But on the other side, now we did see the bans coming through for the second round of bans, and Stinkmeister did take out Echo. But before that, we didn't even mention that they picked up the Jhin ADC as the response into that Vayne potentially. So I don't know how I like that matchup very much. Honestly, I think Vayne can take advantage of it early on. But following that up, we did have the rest of the bans here. It was the Kha'Zix and the Zoe taken off the board. And honestly, I really like to see the Zoe taken off because she has been absolutely destroying games solo here recently.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm slightly biased against Zoe. Not my favorite champion design, so always happy to see her taken off the table. But yeah, definitely agree with you. She is very strong right now and has been popping up more and more.
Definitely. I like to see this one. Magic lock in the Kassadin, the Casa win, as we heard today, if you were watching the LEC. But it is going to be a very, very strong composition. The one thing I do have to say for Magic, though, it seems like it's going to be a lot of boom or bust. It's going to be a lot of risk. If that risk works out, yes, you win the game whole-handedly. If it doesn't work out, there's one misstep that's going to end in tragedy for your team, as Zach is picked up for the Stinkmeisters, who are looking to add a little bit more beefiness to their composition.
Yeah, and SMS, they have one hell of an engage right now, and they can technically flex the Wukong mid still if they want to, and that'd be very dangerous in this situation because Kasten historically has a lot of trouble versus 80 mid laners, and especially the Wukong, who has the new clone and is able to juke out on you a lot, and also just being able to avoid damage for that period of time where you're just kind of like, where is he? And it's like, hey, there he was. But we'll have to see. It is most likely going to be the Ryze mid, and Magic going to round off their team comp with the Sejuani, so a lot of tankiness coming out from both junglers here.
Yeah, so it definitely looks like the setup is going to be more than likely set top, Kassadin mid, obviously Sejuani in the jungle, and Vayne and Vel'Koz in the bot lane for Magic, and that provides them with a lot of strengths, but as I said before, a lot of weaknesses as well, especially waiting for Kassadin to hit level 6, waiting to get the extra damage and the items onto the Vayne and the Vel'Koz in the set. So I'm really looking for Stinkmeister with their composition, the amount of engage that you were talking about. I'm looking for them to try and take control of this game early or in the early parts of the mid game and just kind of propel themselves forward with that.
Yeah, because that's what they're going to really have to do here, because obviously the Jin's going to get outscaled. Sure, the Wukong and Ryze scale fairly well, especially the Ryze, but you're comparing that to the Vayne and Kasten, and they're just going to put out so much damage. They're even going to have the Vel'Koz too as another source of damage. I mean, it'll mean less peel for the Vayne on Magic's side, but Vayne does at least have the final hour invisibility, which helps her a lot with self-peel.
Yeah, it definitely does. And honestly, I did kind of want to circle back and talk a little bit more about Stinkmeister's composition, because we already said that they have a lot of engage. They have a lot of synergy in their composition, especially going in for these kind of engages that we were talking about. Now, with that, is the damage follow-up there? I mean, you have the Ryze, who is also that extremely hard scaling late game mage from the mid lane that you're looking for those big plays, especially around the objective with the Rift walk. It could be very useful. But who are you looking to as the real power point for Stinkmeisters?
It's gonna really depend on who snowballs here. Obviously, in the late game, it is gonna have to be that Ryze, but come early to mid game, Jhin will still be putting out a fair good amount of damage. It's just his DPS is obviously limited due to having only those 4 bullets. And then, of course, the Wukong is gonna be so massive and even scales better into the late game now compared to prior to his rework. Granted, he does still fall off a little, but either way, the Wukong is going to be absolutely huge, and we're actually going to see Noble be taking this Wukong into the mid lane here for SMS to take it against Doku Master's Kasten, which is something we mentioned earlier, and that's going to be a very huge contention point.
Honestly, I really like the decision here coming out from SMS to make that change, because I do believe the Ryze has a better matchup into the set, especially being that ranged control mage, being able to lock him down and stop the advances. Obviously, not always going to work out for you. Set is going to hit you a couple times, but with Ryze, you do have the machine gun that you can fire right back at him with. And then Wukong, he has a lot more playability against the Kassadin. He has a lot of options he can do, especially the roaming options coming out of mid lane once you hit 6, trying to keep up with the Kassadin and trying to make sure that your mid lane doesn't get overhandled.
And plus also, the Wukong can bring so much damage in the early game, and that is going to be very fearful or scary for Doku Master on the Kasten, because it will be a little bit of an unfortunate situation where you want to get a tier and or Roa early, but you also want to get a Seeker's Arm Guard early so you aren't just insta-dying to the Wukong all the time. And I'm wondering if a Doku Master might get Tab Eyes here for this specific matchup. It won't scale as well as Sork Boots, Lucidity Boots, or maybe even Merc Treads to deal with all the CC in the late game, but it might be what he needs to get through this laning phase.
Yeah, exactly that. And really with these compositions, I think it's going to come all down to how this early game pans out, how these teams are going to want to play this series, because you do have the split push viability coming out from SMS, but you have the strong split push as well coming out from the side of Magic. So really, I think that the early game is going to dictate where we go for the fights in this game. If we're going to see some split pushing side lanes, or if we're going to see more of a focus on team fights around the objectives, especially the Dragon, is what I'm looking towards for the Soul for these teams, because you definitely know with the amount of scaling they're going to want to successfully achieve that objective, and how they get there is going to be the story of the tape.
But with that being said, though, we are going to have to cut to a short break here on the desk, but don't go anywhere because we will be back with game number 1.
Is that all you've got to say? Is that all you've got to say?
Hello and welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Rampage Open Week 7 matchup between Stinkmeister Supreme and Magic. We are onto the Rift here and see if we get to see anything spicy for today. I am really wanting to see where these junglers are going to start pathing and kind of start getting their role and wonder what we're going to see out of these two.
Yeah, because Gladifrog, once he hits that level 3 or even level 5 and has like a few points in that elastic slingshot, that's going to be pretty big for his ganks, just having that extra bit of range.
I like psychology, trying to get the range there.
Yeah. Either way, though, Pretzel Killer, it's going to be different for him this game since his lanes, they kind of all have rather rough matchups, to say the least, so he might just be playing the role of hey, please don't kill my laners this game. But we'll have to see, because there is a potential, there is still kill pressure for his laners, especially once they start getting some levels and ranking up and getting a few little item power spikes here and there.
Yeah, so it does look like we're going to be with Gladifrog starting the Raptors, and it does look like Pretzel Killer is going to be starting his red, or actually started the Krugs there into the red. So different starts coming out from both junglers, but both going to look for some ganking early at least. But here on the bot lane, do you see the dredge line come in from stuns? That's an immediate flash coming out from Revel, who has to use that to get out from the damage coming out from that fourth shot, as Shredderman finally uses it. Is not going to pick up the kill that they wanted, but flash in return is pretty nice.
Yeah. At least, though, silver lining here for Magic is that Psychology, he's able to get a full proc of that press the attack down onto Shredderman, so able to return a lot of damage himself, and it is going to be hard for this Jhin to lifesteal back up, even with that fleet footwork. Oh, the hook lands!
Beautiful dredge line coming through, as well as the deadly flourish, and that's going to be first blood going over to Shredderman with the fourth shot from the Jhin, just like what I want to see.
Yeah, and that's why you have to respect the other laners getting level 2 first in those duo lanes, because 2 level 2s versus 2 level 1s, it usually goes in favor of the level 2s in that matchup there. And when they have the dredge line, they have the Nautilus passive, and they also have the Deadly Blossom to get that root. You're not escaping that, especially if you're Vel'Koz without a flash. So easy first blood pick up there for the side of SMS, and oh my lord, Sports just taking a fatty haymaker there.
Yeah, definitely taking a lot of damage in the top lane. The one thing I was going to point out is that Revel was landing some really, really nice angles on his abilities, but just at that moment was not able to survive any longer and goes down. And that's not what you want to give up if you are this bot lane here for Magic. You don't want the Vayne to get behind from the Jhin, because Jhin will start commanding the lane, especially with the combo that we're already seeing from the dredge line plus the deadly flourish. That's a long root / stun that means you're gonna die.
Yeah, and the worst possible outcome here is that Shredderman is able to get a second kill in this lane, and then he might come back with the BF sword to just a Vamp Scepter from Psychology, and that'd be absolutely terrible. Pretzel Killer hanging out on the bot lane, but he was spotted on that ward, however. Gonna spot it out right now himself with that sweeper, though.
Nice little dodge there by Noble, getting out with the clone to get all the, unfortunately, Odoku Master did use his damage ability onto the clone, so feels good, man, for Noble at least starting off this game. Getting the little tricks of the trade. Now it is going to be Pretzel Killer taking the blue side Raptors, so going to go for that or invade early on. You do see Zach going for the scuttle as well in that river area, so very different approaches so far. Want to see if Zach is going to go top or mid lane, because both lanes are hurting right now, as it doesn't matter because it's going to be Scorch going down the top lane. That's the power of set. And now here on the bot side, we're going to have to see, is Pretzel going to be able to make it rain, as now it is the engage going through in the mid lane. Odoku is going down, but on the bot side, Stun is the one that falls. The Deadly Flare is going to be able to bring some damage there. Revel trying to land a little cheap shot as well, but overall, chaos across the map.
Yeah, 1-for-1, but most importantly was in that bot line, Psychology and Revel, they didn't actually need Pretzel Killer for that kill there. It's just stuns overextended too far in the Nautilus and was taking way too much damage from the minions and the 2 enemy bot laners. And of course in the mid lane, that's a pretty tragic outcome for Odoku Master, because he still had flash on this cast in and he might have been able to get away. But
yeah,
ends up dying there, and Noble, It's gonna hurt a lot when he comes back here with a serrated Dirk if he does do that.
It definitely is. Now, you did see Gladifrog try a little gank there. Not able to get anything off, really, but still at least trying, showing his presence, making sure that they know there is still a Zac here. Now, Pretzel Killer looking to come in for his own gank. Noble not having a lot of health. Here goes the engage by Gladifrog, who is going to get the knockback. Not a lot of damage coming out from the Zac. Doesn't have any help from Noble, who it does have to back because of health and mana concerns. But at least he gets a little bit more damage down on the Kassadin.
Yeah, plus also, Noble, he does have the teleport here to just instantly come back to lane. And a Doku Master, he's going to want to back probably now on the Kassadin since he is well below that half health mark. And that's a level 6 Wukong who's coming back to lane with a Cutlass, actually.
Yeah, decided to go for a Cutlass. Beautiful use of the ability by Psychology to knock back as soon as the dredge line land, but in the mid lane it's Odaku Master able to pick up the kill as well, and now Scorch is going to be in some trouble, both running as well. That Haymaker does so much damage once you let it stack up like that.
Yeah, oh my lord, but going back to that mid lane, really great heads up play there by Pretzel Killer to recognize, hey, that Wukong, he just backed. He's probably going to try something to kill my
goodness.
Are we going to see a solo kill?
Oh, the flash showstopper coming through from Bobby Tarantino, looking to try and make it a kill in the top lane, but not able to. Did have the fancy feet, but not enough for the flashy plays, as he really, really wanted that kill.
Oh, are we going to see something? The Realm Orb is available, but Scorch would be going in with like 100-ish health. Yeah, they're just going to be backing off from this, and like you said, that was a very unfortunate flashy play from Bobby Tarantino, because had he angled that a little bit differently, he would have taken Scorch towards his tower and not towards that wall. And then Scorch, if he flashed, he'd still be on Bobby Tarantino. Either way, though, Gladifrog, he's looking his mid lane at this Kassadin.
Just trying to get something. He's got 2-level disadvantage to the Kassadin, and Noble denies him the minion to pull back the Kassadin. That's a bit unfortunate for Gladifrog.
Oh, the hook plants.
Beautiful max range. The flash coming out from Revel has to get out of the Deadly Flourish, but that Presty attack return damage is too much for you to deal with, Shredderman.
Yeah, that should have been a trade very heavily in their favor. I mean, granted, it still is.
There you go.
Oh, the final hour.
Now the dredge line, the Deadly Flourish. That's going to be Shredderman picking up the kill. You can't roll into the damage, Psychology. As now it's going to be Revel who's going to be the next to go down if he can land the last shot. Double kill to the Jhin, and Shredderman is on fire.
Yeah, 3-0 on this Jhin with a mild CS lead as well. He's going to be backing here with quite a bit of money, 1.7k in the bank, and Psychology, that was just way too aggressive of him going in right into that Nautilus's hook range, and of course Stuns is going to throw the dredge line at you. Of course he's going to hook you.
And honestly, Stuns has been on point with the max range dredge lines. I mean, it is insanity. This man is hitting the tip of the anchor and still able to connect. And Psychology making a little bit of a misstep there, rolling forward after using the final hour there, and just was kind of left with nothing after that. And you do that to a Jhin, they're going to line you up and take you down every time.
And not to mention, Psychology, he probably should have tumbled behind some minions. That way he has a little bit of blockage, or like you said, not directly forward. Had he done it at a little bit of weird angle, that would have messed him up a little bit more. But what's been done has been done, and now 1-3 this bot lane here for Magic. It's gotta hurt. Might be 1-4 though.
Oh, another dredge line lands, another Deadly Flourish. Is it going to be Shredderman following this one up with even more, but it's Psychology turning it around. Now the fourth shot's going to ring. That's going to be 1 down for Shredderman. Is he going to be able to pick up 2? The slow onto Gladifrog, the flash forward, the Blitz bounce as well. And here goes the second kill of the fight. Double kill going over to Shredderman. And sitting at 5-0-0, 350 gold in his bounty pocket. He's feeling good.
Fantastic even. He is now going to have complete control of this lane, because that's another double kill in his pocket. His team also got the Infernal Dragon recently too, so that's even more damage. And he's going to back here right now, get some boots. He's going to finish the Storm Razor too, which is going to be such a huge power spike, as Psychology just sitting on the components himself. And this bot lane, it's only going to get harder for these two, Revel and Psychology, because there is now the ultimate for stuns, and once he pops that death charge, there's no escaping that, even if you have the flash.
Yeah, and with how stuns has been so deadly on this Nautilus already, I mean, you have to know that that kill pressure is there. Here it comes again. There's that depth charge you were asking about. And here goes the death in the mid lane. That is going to be Odoku Master going down. Now in the top lane, Gladifrog gets caught out by Bobby Tarantino, who is on a killing spree now and quietly making a name for himself in the top lane.
Yeah, because while that bot lane fight was happening, there was actually yet another solo kill in that top lane, and Bobby Tarantino has been doing quite fine in this lane, and we even see Scorch taking the tab eyes into this matchup. Very fearful, wanting that extra armor early on, and it might get easier for him later, but there's the Cutlass slow.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of damage going to Scorch. Scorch just uses the phase rush to get away, but still taking so much damage from the set. And you see a bit of a roam towards the mid lane from Psychology and Revel, but nothing comes of it, so they're going to go ahead and head back down to the bot lane.
Yep. But, ooh, I don't like the split up play by the bot lane. Psychology, yeah. He almost played the bot lane alone through the main river entrance, and that was just asking to be hard.
Yeah, I mean, the second you see a Nautilus, you have to realize that that path is no longer available. He's literally just waiting for you to take that
Doku
path.
Master.
He is the Kassadin. He does have a little bit of mobility. Now, you do see
I could have swore I heard the elastic slingshot being charged. Oh.
Now, you do see a bit of a roam play for Vision up here from this bot lane of SMS, and pretty much a stale state right now for the last couple minutes because everybody's, I have to say, a bit scared of the situation that's been going on. I mean, we've had craziness go on in the first 12 minutes of the game. I mean, we have 13 kills already as well, so definitely looking to chill the pace out here for the side of Magic. They need that scaling. They need to be able to make it there, and they can't give up too many kills before then. And that damage coming out, the max range dredge line again. It is just rinse and repeat for these fellas in the bot lane as Shredderman and Stuns are able to pick up a kill and take down Psychology. Here comes the Disintegration Ray, but it is a little bit too late as they get out with the gold.
Yeah, 5-0-1 now this gen, and that is absolutely terrifying if you're the side of Magic, and they're gonna need something to help out this bot lane soon, because it's already snowballed out of control, but you do have a 3-0 set who does have that teleport, and can try coming to that bot lane, especially if Pretzel Killer comes and you have a 4 versus 2, should be a very easy pickup. But that hasn't been the case yet, and we have a Cloud Dragon spawning here in just a second, and things are quite in SMS's favor in the bottom side of the map, and I believe they're going to have some pretty easy prio over that dragon.
Yeah, they definitely are, and you can see the little glimpses of Ducko Master being a very strong Kassadin. You see Bobby Tarantino really having a lot of strength in that top lane, but how does that translate into more wins here? Because you are down in gold. You need to be able to take control of these objectives, especially with the dragon being up now. And really, how do you go about doing that is the question of the game so far here for Magic.
Oh, we're going to see a potential dive in this top lane. Immediate teleport from Noble, and there's the charge from the Rift Herald. It looks like Pretzel Killer is just going to back off here. Happy to get out that teleport. Or is he?
Oh, look at it go back in as Pretzel Killer wanted to set up Bobby Tarantino. They do get the charge in the top lane. The top lane tower did not fall. But on the other side of the map, they are able to take down the dragon. Beautiful side steps coming out from Psychology there as the depth charge is not available yet. You can bet that that's what Stuns wanted to do, but just not able to.
Yeah, and that is the price Pretzel Killer had to pay for showing top. Huge damage coming out of this set in the top lane. Haymaker going to shield him off a little bit.
Got nothing now, though.
Yeah. Once he starts running away, that's when Scorch is just able to start throwing stuff back and get a bit of a trade back in. And oh, there's the depth charge.
Yeah, that's a beautiful condemn into the wall. Shredderman has the flash, though, as the Let's Bounce comes out from Gladys Frog. The flash in return, the deadly flourish is missed. That Stun's going golden, and do they have the outplay? They do! as that's a double kill going over to Revel. And now the follow-up from the rest of the team is here. Do they want to take the fight? Glacial Prison is going to be used. It's going to miss. Odaku Master is going after the split targets. Gladafrog is running for his life. He's got the blast brush. He's going to make it over the wall. He makes it to safety, and chaos ensues in the bot lane.
Yeah, and just a little bit too much miscoordination on that dive coming out from SMS, because Stuns and Noble, they ran way too far ahead, or Stuns and Gladafrog, just way too far ahead. Then Shredderman was all on his own, eating up all that damage from Psychology's Vein, and having to flash out, then dying to the Disintegration Ray. But, oh, there's the Slingshot in the bot lane.
Oh, Gladafrog getting dropped, though. Condemned right into the wall, and that's going to be the Bloblets popped there. Psychology is really turning it on right now, and it all started with the dive in the bot lane, where you saw Shredderman overextend, go against the wall under the enemy tower, and just get condemned and dropped there. So definitely some heads-up plays coming out from the bot lane for Magic here.
Although one thing to note is during that play, in the mid lane, Noble was able to pick up a solo first tower on this Wukong. This is absolutely huge. He's 1.4k gold ahead of Odaku Master right now. That's pretty huge considering he was the one pick we're trying to look at to snowball in this mid lane to try and take over this game. And it isn't a complete dominant snowball, but it is going to be a very noticeable snowball.
Yeah, and I mean, it's pretty crazy. You have the same leads here pretty much for SMS on the bot and mid lanes. They both have about 14 to 1,500 gold lead on their counterpart. But that being said, you look at the top lane, there's a 1.5k lead for Bobby Tarantino as well. So still feeling pretty good because you do have a little bit of an even state here. You just got to make sure to use that to your potential, as Curtain Call here. As trying to just get some damage down on Psychology, get some extra damage on the tower as well.
Yep, it is also going to die some CS. There's the Elastic Slingshot in the top lane. It's an immediate showstopper.
You jump in, I could jump in too, as he's looking to land the Haymaker. That's a lot of damage, but it's not going to be enough. A shutdown of 700 gold going over to Gladafrog, and that's going to be a pause.
Oh my lord. Absolutely massive shutdown picked up there, but it does go to Gladafrog, which is slightly unfortunate because had Noble picked that up, that would have been such a huge swing in gold. But either way, still a huge pickup nonetheless, and they stopped their tower from falling in that top lane, which is denying that global and local gold that would have gone over to Magic had that dropped.
Yeah, now it does look like we had some screen freezing issues for one of the players, so it's going to take just a little bit for us to get back in, and we are going back in right now. So don't even have to stop too long for this action to continue, as we did see that kill going to the top lane. Now Gladafrog walking into a bush. He's going to get some damage put down onto him. Pretzel Killer is there as well. He flashes away, though. Glacial Prison is going to miss. Odaku Master is going for the kill, but he's going to go down. That's too much greed, my man. That's too much greed. As the flash is coming over, Noble's trying to get the outplay, but on the other side is Scorch waiting in the wings, as that's going to be a beautiful dash flash. Pretzel Killer is going to get slowed down. He's dodging. He's trying. He's making it. He's going to make it. And he makes it to the blast press and makes it out just in time.
Still, that was way too much greed coming out there to try and get that one kill. And Odaku Master, you didn't have to flash under that tower because they knew Noble was still in the area and they still pursued that. They could have just been content there with getting out Gladafrog's flash there and then just piecing out. But instead, greed overtook them.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Now they were able to pick up the second Rift Herald there for Pretzel Killer as well, so gonna have to look to see where they want to use that and see if they can get a tower of their own, as you have top and bot lane getting very, very low, but mid lane still staying strong.
Yeah. But
so you gotta hold this fight, Scorch, as he's coming in onto you. He's using all the damage he has in his kit. Scorch is trying to run away using the phase rush, and actually dissuades him. He goes right back in. It's gonna be traded flash as well.
Is Cassin already doing this much damage on just a not even half-stacked Roa and a tier of the Goddess, which is rather scary.
To be fair, Scorch is down immensely. Or I guess not compared to mid lane, but he's 0-2. He just finished his rod. So he's a bit behind, at least.
Mm-hmm.
But I still agree, Cassidy is doing a lot more damage than you expect for him at 20 minutes into the game.
Yeah, but we'll have to see if there's a contest for this dragon here, because this would bring
Rift Herald was spawned, and now the TPs, they have to deal with something here as Noble goes in onto the Sejuani, but is not going to get me. This is a split fight here, but now the Showstopper comes in on the other side. The Ray of Disintegration is there as well. Odaku Master is in the back doing so much. Psychology following him up, and that's going to be the fight in favor of Magic, who is now going to be able to clean up the rest and take the dragon and flash for the style point from Bobby Tarantino. Odaku Master decides he doesn't want to continue chasing, as the entire time that fight was going on, there was a Rift Herald pushing the bot lane and almost got 2 towers.
Yeah, and that was such a huge fight for Magic, since they were falling a little bit behind in objectives. And one of the most important things about that fight was Noble was spending so much time in the back trying to get Pretzel Killer off of that dragon, but they're behind the dragon pit, and Noble used his Cyclone to try and interrupt him. So it was a 4 versus 5 when Pretzel Killer went over that dragon pit wall. Oh, there's the slingshot.
That's a lot of damage on Pretzel Killer. Noble still does have the kill potential, but the biggest thing is we highlighted it the entire game so far. Who has the scaling? It's going to be Magic, and we can already see that coming to fruition here, as I don't believe that Stinkmeisters really pushed the lead that they had and propelled themselves forward, as we were saying that they needed to. And now that we're actually in favor of the side of Magic for the gold lead, they're feeling in the driver's seat right now. They're feeling pretty good.
Yeah, because earlier in the game, they had a 5-0 Jhin for Shredder meat, and then Noble's still 4-1 on this Wukong. Those are very potent carries, but just hasn't worked out. We saw Noble wasn't really in that last fight, and then Shredderman was basically all on his own since stuns went in, leaving a very lonesome Jhin to deal with the wrath of a very fed set. But the map has reset, and things are still very even. There is still only 300 gold separating these two teams right now, so it's anyone's game by a long shot. But
yeah, now you do see Odaku was the one that was assigned to, oh no, Noble going to prematurely pop the ultimate. Unfortunately, it's going to be a big cooldown going down, and so far Odaku Master has been that answer.
Yeah, now that he's starting to finally hit some strides here on this Caston, has that Rod of Ages nearly fully stacked, has that level 2 Rift Walk, which is rather huge, and a maxed Q for that Null Sphere, which is going to help out a lot. Oh, Revel, you have to be careful here.
You have the flame coming in from Noble. They are onto the Vayne, and that's the target. That's the one that needed to go down. You have to be careful of the Cassid in the side lane. Scorch looking to take on his rival, his nemesis, as Bobby Tarantino is going to get stopped by the Deadly Flare. Depth Charge comes out. A lot of damage, a lot of bodies, a lot of killing, as that's a shutdown going over to Noble. And they turn immediately onto the Baron. They want to make a statement.
This is very risky, though, because it will be a 50-50 unless someone runs in stopping duty on the Sejuani, but no one is doing that quite yet. And we'll have to see. Keep in mind, there's also Lifeform Disintegration Ray, and with that Magic Resist debuff, the damage is going to be massive. Stun should drop.
Here it goes. Glacial Prison also goes down onto Noble. Baron's getting low. It's going to be stolen by Rebel, who, after everything, takes the objective.
Oh my god. Rebel able to steal that through both smites, actually. Gladifrog not using his. And that is such a huge turnaround. What was a 5 versus 3, but no one went over the wall to play that distraction. No one was stopping Pretzel Killer from just flying over that wall and contesting that freely.
That feels so bad, GoFrito. No smites used by either jungler, who were both standing in the pit. And it was, who else? Revel taking that as the rift. It's going to be used in top lane. That's a bit unfortunate for Pretzel Killer.
At least Revel did finally find a place where a max range Nautilus hook won't take
payback?
him.
Oh, he misses it barely! As Gladifrog is looking to go in now, that's going to be Revel caught with the max range Dreadline. That has been his death every time in this game. And now it's going to be the Psychology looking for the outplays. Deadly Flourish is going to land. There's too many bodies there for you. Caught out yet again is the ADC. And that means the fight goes in favor of SMS.
Yeah, just a bloody mess there, and overextension from the bot lane of Magic. Like, they have Baron buff, just group with your team and force as 1 or even 2. But that's not the case, and they lost their mid-inner tower as a result of that, and that's gonna stall out this Baron push. Granted though, Bobby Tarantino getting a lot of work done in this top lane, and there is going to be another Ocean Dragon spawning here in just 20-ish seconds. Both teams are going to be eyeing this up.
Yeah, that's going to be Sejuani caught out just a bit on the backside. It's Oduko who does get caught out. That's going to be Shredderman carrying his team, and now they're going to go for the dragon.
Oh, yeah, Oduko Master just way too aggressive on this cast, and sure you have that fully stacked row, but you don't have that Zonias yet to give you that extra armor, and you're all alone.
Okay, he smited it that time. He got it. Now the fight ensues afterwards. Psychology is looking to get Death charged up. That's going to be the burn, the death. That's the Vayne going down. Now it's Bobby Tarantino with the haymaker. Gonna take down stuns. Gladifrog able to flash over the wall. Bobby Tarantino, that was an awful flash. Looking to get the showstopper back into the pit. You can see what he was trying to do, but was just a little bit late on the execution. So Gladifrog gets out.
And that is a 1 for 2 in the favor of SMS. There might be 1 for 3 if they're able to take down Pretzel Killer.
That's a beautiful jump in by Gladifrog to stop the dodge, as well as they still were not able to pick up the kill on Sejuani, and that's a bit unfortunate, as you did see Revel able to provide some assistance over the wall there. But the game is strong for Magic, who have just been pushing down these side lanes like crazy. And at one point, just a few moments ago, there was only 1 tower taken on the map, and now it is SMS who are down to pretty much their inhib towers here, and their base is looking a bit rough.
Mm-hmm. Although one thing to point out though is that there wasn't really any Baron buff pushes that came out from Magic there. Like, they got it on 3 of their members, and then just kind of let a few people get caught out with it, which is rather unfortunate. Bobby Tarantino might meet himself a Wukong here.
Yeah, that's going to be the engage as well. Haymaker waiting to come through. That's going to be Bobby Tarantino finally using it. He uses it on the wrong target, and after that, that's all she wrote. Noble is dominating.
7-1 on this Wukong with 2.5 items to his name. There's so much damage that's going to be coming out.
That's
Master.
a lot of damage coming from Shredderman, though. He hits 1 shot on you. You are feeling it.
Yeah, and that's because there hasn't really been any armor purchased here on the side of Magic, aside from Pretzel Killer on that Sejuani, who's working towards that Gargoyle Stone Plate. But yeah, Odoku Master, he really needs that Zonia soon, just to help them survive the brunt of damage that's coming out from Shredderman and Noble. Not to mention, Bobby Tarantino, he's really gonna probably want like a Death's Dance soonish, or even a Dead Man's Plate, because he's gonna need some beat. Oh, Pretzel.
Pretzel walks right into the enemy team. The follow-up is here, though. Gladifrog is tanking. He's in the front line. He's getting dropped. His disintegration rate did come down. Now it's going to be the TP coming from Bobby Tarantino. Shredderman is on a rampage, though. He's trying to get him. Gladifrog is still alive, though. Deadly Flourish is going to land. 4th shot ready to go. Almost 1-shot Psychology, as now it's going to be the curtain call. It's going to be deaths all around. That is going to be a twofer for Shredderman. A story of the game, as he is just dominating on this gen, and a complete and clean total ace coming through for SMS.
Yeah, SMS have just been capitalizing so much on these positioning mistakes that have been constantly coming out from Magic this game. It's just like every 2 minutes, it feels like they're getting another pick on someone who just overextended from Magic, and they're going to be getting the first inhibitor turret and inhibitor of this game. It might not be able to end yet with how low death timers are, but having that inhibitor down when that next dragon is spawning here in 1:30 and Baron's up in 25 is going to be pretty huge and advantageous for them, especially now that they do have a slightly noticeable gold lead.
Yeah, exactly. It's really kind of ballooned for them here, as they were in the deficit for a little while, but now have, as I said, ballooned themselves to about a 4K gold lead here. And now the next big objective is going to be coming up in about, well, I guess 5 seconds for the Baron, but really, we're all talking about the Dragon Soul, which SMS is on Soul Point here, so you can expect them to really focus down on those objectives.
Yeah, because it will be the Ocean Soul, which is so powerful. Just the constant regen you already get from the Ocean Dragons, but then also you're just getting that constant regen from all the damage your abilities do. On top of that, it can be so obnoxious. And if you look at the side of SMS, if they get Ocean Soul, it's going to be so nasty.
it's so bad.
Noble, he has Blade of the Rune King and Death Stance. That's a ton of sustain. Frog, he's a sack. He has so much natural sustain in his kit. And then Scorch probably has the Ravenous Hunter on Rise, so there's gonna have to be some grievous wounds to really shred through this. But we do see everybody setting up here.
Yeah, we're gonna have a big fight.
Yeah, something's gonna happen because no one really wants to give this up. Oh, there's the slingshot.
Yeah, slingshot's gonna go in. Gladifrog just kind of going in willy-nilly. They dodge out the Tectonic Disruption. Gladifrog is still in the damage. He's going, let's bounce. Now it's going to be Shredderman on the backside. You got to deal with the Jin. You can't let him just single target you, as now it's going to be Pretzel Killer looking to take Shredderman out. He does have damage, but that's the fourth shot, baby. That's why you picked the Jin, who was able to shut him down. But on the backside of that fight, Psychology is winning out in the ADC trade on the back line for them, as he is able to pick up a kill for himself. And now it's going to be a 3v3 over the Dragon, and it's looking like they want to go ahead and press for the soul.
Yeah, and this is going to be unfortunate for Magic to get it, and that's what they're going to do. Noka does
now the turnaround, that's just going to be Rebel going down. Shredderman is going to get kited a bit, but actually able to return the damage on Psychology. One more shot and the Vein's done. Shredderman is going to continue to fall. He's got the movement speed burst. He's going to get the one. Oh, the Condemn coming out to stop Shredderman. That's going to be
the curtain call.
That is going to be a flash coming out from Psychology, as not able to gets the deadly point. Is not using the curtain call. Just popped the curtain call. Looking to go for the shots. We don't have the camera on point right now, but he doesn't get it and turns it off. That's why the camera never changed, because he missed all of his shots.
Still, though, that's now 4 souls and the Ocean Soul going over to SMS, which is going to be so massive here, because they're already winning all these fights, and now it's just going to be even easier for them to win all these fights. That fight was so scattered. It was even at first, but once the Dragon was started up by SMS, just so much miscommunication coming out from Magic there. We saw Revel trying to go in, trying to contest it. We saw Bobby Tarantino trying to recall on the set. And I feel like they had to at least try and throw everybody, all 3 of those remaining members at that Dragon to try and get it, because there are a lot of shutdowns to be picked up, and you deny the soul. But they give up another kill, and they give up that soul.
That's not where you want to back, as now it's going to be the engage from Gladifrog, who is going to get the slow. Shredderman stop following up. That's going to be the Storm Razor proc. Psychology already popped the final hour, is looking to pull the damage out, but that's going to be the stuns, the roots, the damage. The Glacial Prison now is going to land, but it's not going to be a lot. Disintegration Ray is going to disintegrate stuns. That's going to be a beautiful showstopper.
Oh
and
my!
The fight is turning around here. Shredderman is going down. He's able to get the turnaround shots. Get one grenade and you get a double kill, but he gets taken down by Odaku Master. And all of a sudden we have a back and forth. They lose with the Ocean Soul that we were talking about, and it is going to be Magic who look to take the Baron.
Because if you look at the start of the fight, look at all the cooldowns they blew. But it was only on Odaku Master, Psychology, and Pretzel Killer, because Revel and Bobby Tarantino weren't there quite yet. So they used all their cooldowns on the primary tank, mostly, and Pretzel Killer just able to eat all of that damage up and then some. So they wasted up a ton on that. Then all of a sudden Bobby Tarantino comes in, Revel comes in, you have the Lifeform Disintegration Ray hitting 3 people, and then the beautiful Showstopper just to hit 3 people alongside the person you pile drive into that huge haymaker. That was just destruction and a beautiful comeback fight coming out from Magic, and this is going to be their second Baron of the game, and this is going to be really telling because they're going to have to do something with this buff here.
Yeah, they definitely are. I just want to point out that the Gold League has shifted to a 2K gold lead for the side of Magic now, so that's about a 6K swing, which is pretty crazy after that fight. Now, these fights have been so dicey. It's all about positioning. In the one before this at the Dragon, it was Shredderman who was on the side. Nobody focused him. He was able to get the damage down. He was able to follow through and pick up the kills. This time, it was miscommunication. It was Shredderman getting pulled out, caught up, and now it's actually going to be Pretzel who gets caught out. He is super tanky, so do have a little bit of wiggle room there. But the fights are just so close. And it's all about, so far, the positioning of the ADCs. But the scary thing is that Magic is going to get stronger. They are hitting those points. They are that late game hyper scaling team. And they're going to show it to you here in about 10-15 minutes if you don't close out the game, as the side of SMS is trying to do.
Yeah, and most importantly is they're starting to build up some tankiness on the side of Magic too, which is gonna help a ton. Granted, Odoku Master still going towards the Void Staff, it looks like, instead, so he doesn't have a lot of tankiness on the Caston and has to play really careful. Because the Zhonya's, I know it sounds a bit like a broken record this game, but it gives you so much flexibility in those team fights, and being this squishy on the Caston can be very, very hit or miss.
Yeah, it definitely can be, but you see in those fights how strong the Kassadin can be, or as chat says, the Kassa win, as now they are taking down the second tier tower in the mid lane. They do have the split push coming out from Bobby Tarantino, who is going to continue pushing, but it does look like SMS want to go for a fight here. They've called up the Wukong. They're looking for the engage here. That's going to be an immediate flash from Revel, who decides to get out of there.
Yeah, just the move speed on the Zac, a little too much to outrun here for Revel. That is going to be a little unfortunate for him, but not giving up a kill there, definitely in his best interests. As it looks like the move is... I think we're going to have a fight here. Pretzel Killer just walking into 4 members of the enemy team. But so the call's just going to be push out this bot wave. You do still have the Baron.
Oh man, a quarter of Shredderman's health taken off. He's going to be healing back up, but that's a lot of damage coming out from Revel. Now it's going to be the Baron buff falling, so they don't have the extra strength in the minions. The re-engage is coming through here, and the nice CCs coming down, but it does look like going to finally get the engage coming through from Gladifrog, who's very late to the party. Honestly, if he would have showed up a little bit earlier, he might have been able to help get Pretzel Killer down, but miscommunication rules the game, and here we are now, nobody going down. Big fight still to be had. Elder Dragon is alive. That's going to be a shot on Shredderman. That's the beautiful Deadly Flourish there. That's going to be a knockup, though, as the knockups continue. It's going to be Noble who's getting the double activation but gets taken down. Shredderman is being dunked on by Odoku Master, and now it is anybody's game, as it's going to be the side of Magic who take the clean fight and are just dominating from the last fight onwards.
And what looked like a clean engage there was just a beautiful setup by Magic, because Shredderman was all on his own on the Jhin and just an easy target for Odoku Master. Yeah.
Scorch was nowhere to be found. No communication with their team whatsoever. He was nowhere even near them, and they decided to go in.
Yeah, a 4 versus 5. They might have thought there was less members there than there actually were, but they did just kind of see everybody bot lane because of that Baron push. Either way, though, this is going to be Elder Dragon for the side of Magic here for the time being. It isn't going to be the worst thing to deal with, but it's going to have to be something that SMS is going to have to watch out for, because there's also now a 5k gold lead here for Magic.
Yeah, which is nuts to think of that as where this game has come from, and they've really helped themselves here in the later parts of the game. And we're at 40 minutes here, Gofrino. This is a big game. This is going late, and they are exactly in the position they want to be for this, as they pick themselves the perfect composition.
Because, I mean, it's now a level 17 cast in with 5 items. I think it's safe to say that he has come online.
Yeah, I don't think that SMS are in any way, shape, or form going to win these fights. You see Shredderman isn't doing the same amount as he was, as everybody's getting healthier, everybody's getting tankier. Meanwhile, Psychology is doing what he's supposed to do, as now Odoku Master is going in. This is the 1v1, the damage coming through. That's going to be the GA pop. Is he going to go down? That's a flash forward, the dredge line. That's a shutdown going over. And a lot of gold in Shredderman's pockets, but what can he do with it, as he is already about full build? And now they are looking around the Baron. We have Baron in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, but that is a very crucial kill. Sure, he might not be able to use all that gold as Shredder, since, I mean, you only have a Last Whisper to finish, and he finishes that right here. But having a 5 versus 4 for the Baron and taking off that late game Castanet, if they do start up this Baron within the period while Odoku Master is down, That's going to be a pretty advantageous position, especially since they do already have that Ocean Soul. Granted, Odoku Master does have the teleport, and Magic already has control over this Baron in vision and people just around it. So it might not work out, but still a nice pickup nonetheless.
Honestly, from my point of view, right now is when SMS need to make their move. They need to be able to use this advantage that Jin has, especially with the Mortal Reminder about an item over the Vayne, to win these 5v5 fights and actually have all 5 members there.
Yeah, because, I mean, we saw how that last fight went. That was 5 versus 4. And Scorch, he has to be in those fights. Granted, you can tell how behind he is. He only has those 3 full items complete and those tab eyes compared to everyone else who's sitting on about a full build, give or take like an item.
Yeah, well, and the worrying part for me is that you still see SMS playing very defensively, playing very slowly. And yes, you do have to do that, but you've got to be careful of them not to just keep taking objectives. As here on the bot side, Noble is going to go down, actually, is going to be able to get out from Bobby Tarantino as now TP comes through as they take the Baron, and Empowered Recall is coming down on 3 members, but that's going to be a power duo in the bot lane pushing this tower. Oh man, Gladifrog unfortunately misses everything, but is able to land the Let's Bounce. That's going to be a shutdown going to Shredderman, who now is looking onto Odoku Master, but he does have the Kassadin. He is going to be able to get out.
Just a little bit too cocky. They're just back off as soon as the teleport comes in from Odoku Master, but that is going to delay the Baron buff push. Still though, it was a good distraction to pick up that Baron.
It definitely was, and they used that to be able to pick up another objective for themselves at the 3rd Baron for them, as well as just being able to finally hit these items. I mean, as we were talking about, it's really been SMS kind of sitting on their laurels waiting, being reactive instead of proactive. And yes, you are behind, so you do have to be careful about the overextensions and things like that. But the thing is you're behind a team that scales harder than you. You can't just keep sitting there and letting them scale, because it's just not going to work out.
Yeah, and it definitely doesn't help when the enemy team has gotten all 3 Barons this game, because I mean, they can't really do much against a Baron push realistically on the side of SMS. Yeah, I mean, they definitely do have the engage to try and take a fight, but they can't really deal with any sort of Baron push all that well.
Now, I don't know if you saw this, but apparently the Jedi are evil. Go Freno, as we all learned something new today. But that is Danielson's prerogative. But in this game, I don't believe they are evil, because I think that they are on the side of SMS. They are waiting for the hope to come back. We want to see the big fight. We want to see the team fight win coming out from them. And really, it's going to come on the back of Shredderman and Noble, who are really the ones putting out the damage.
Yeah, or even Scorch, since he is starting to become scary on this rise, because he's only going to keep getting stronger and stronger. And Bobby Tarantino, he's about leveled off, almost at full build. Should probably sell that Dorn Shield to pick up a control ward for his team, but liking the extra stats, I guess. Either way, though.
Oh, Scorch going to get knocked up there. That's Dredgeline returning. Let's Bounce is there as well. Odoku Master is going to be going down next. That's going to be the fight going in the favor of SMS. Now it's Bobby Tarantino in the backline with Pretzel Killer. He's trying to find the target for the Haymaker. He isn't going to find the damage. That's going to be a fail flash as well as Bobby Tarantino down. And all of a sudden, the curtain call comes out as well as the Rift Warp. And that's going to be Psychology getting blasted by Scorch. And all of a sudden, we have a game on our hands, because it is SMS who take the fight, who take the game so far, and are looking at the Elder Dragon.
This game is so back and forth, because they were just on the back foot, but able to take that really nice engage, just catch out Odoku Master easy peasy, force him into that instant Zonias, and then instantly kill him, making this 5-item cast and just do nothing in that team fight. Now with the Elder, now with the man advantage, they can look to take this middle inhibitor once again. Can they end the game, though, is the real question here. We have 10 seconds till Revel and Odoku Master are at 20 on Psychology and about 15 on Bobby. It is going to be very tight.
Yeah, it definitely is. It looks like they're just going to go for the inhib and back off. Good call, coming out from SMS, but you do have a TP being used by Noble to get to that bot side of the map.
Blue buff Prio, I guess?
I guess so, just wanted to be there. But luckily he did, because now he's here to get the return kill on a Duco Master. As he gets out with a nice little fancy feat and the use of the Rift Walk.
Yep. Either way, though, Magic, once again, just not getting any value out of that Baron buff. Granted, though, their team actually isn't the best at sieging themselves, because Vayne, sure, you have that 550 auto range, but you'd be walking up right up to a Nautilus, right up to a Wukong, right up to a Zac, so kind of hard to auto the tower in that circumstance. Either way, though, this game, it's still going on. 45.5 minutes in.
Yeah, and really, I mean, this is going to come down to these team fights that have been happening. It's the positioning of these ADCs that have been really key, and how quickly they get caught out is how the fights go. I mean, that time, you saw Psychology getting caught out, and what happened after that? They dominated that team fight because they didn't have that extra damage to follow them up. As you saw, Pretzel Killer and Bobby Tarantino in that fight really couldn't do anything besides being beefy bodies, and now it is on a knife's edge here.
Yeah, and 40 more seconds until the 4th Baron of the game is gonna be up, and I want to say that might finally decide the game. I want to say
I'm thinking we get to like 6, 7, maybe 8. How we're feeling about that? No, I don't know. I think that would be just nuts. If that happens, then I don't know how these games finish game number 2, or these teams finish game number 2. Now, we do see tier 2 being taken, but that's going to be Pretzel Killer going in on the stuns here. And are we going to see the follow-up? It is going to be a 5v5 fight here. It is, unfortunately, SNS, who have a bit of a bad positioning for that fight, as you had Odaku Master coming over the wall there. They decide to pull off. The Baron is available yet again, and I'm sure we're going to see a fight over it.
Yep. But keep in mind that mid lane inhibitor is still down, and that's still pushing. Oh, the
call being used. That's going to be Odaku Master going down. That's one of them going. That's 2. Are they going to be able to get the rest of the team, as Gladifrog is able to get a bunch of damage down on Psychology? But that's the Disintegration Ray coming in through the backside, cleaning up the fight. And who's left? It's Psychology. Who wins the fight? It's Magic. And they take it cleanly, as now Psychology dies to the trap for some reason somehow. And that might have been the most anticlimactic thing I've ever seen.
Just, they weren't able to finish off Psychology with that dive from Noble and Gladifrog. And he was able to kite it out, and then the lifesteal from the Vayne kicked in, and he was shredding through the front line. It doesn't matter how tanky Gladifrog and stuns get this game. Silver bolts are still silver bolts, and they will still do that 12% of your max HP as true damage. And we saw it coming out that fight. Granted, though, even though 6 people dropped in that team fight, no one took the Baron.
I don't know how it happened. How do you die to a trap this Vayne? I feel so bad for him. He was doing so well. He carried that fight single-handedly.
Yeah, you survived with 5 people diving you, and then you took to a trap.
Well, and then his teammates surrounded him over the trap, so the pathing was awful, and he just died. It's like, oh, thanks, guys. I appreciate it. This is the thanks I get.
Yeah, unfortunate. Either way, though, I mean, that Baron's still up. We got a minute and a half till the next Elder Dragon of the game, and something's gonna have to decide this game eventually. Noble, he finds himself a Vel'Koz.
That is going to be Noble going in. He does use the first part of his Cyclone, but not able to use the second, as he has to get out of there from the collapse. Now, do they just start this? It does look like they want to go for it here, as Psychology does have the damage for this. The board does spot them out, shows that they are doing a TP as well. You do have the collapse coming in, but who's not here? It's going to be Scorch. It's going to be another 45. The TP is finally coming in. It's a bit late, but he's here to join the fight. Now it's going to be Pretzel in the back. It's going to be the Disintegration Ray coming over top. Pretzel's getting low. It's still the ADC's alive. Showstopper right into the middle of them, though, as that's going to be a ton of damage coming down for Noble. They get out, though. Gladifrog able to escape with his life. Looking to follow it up, though. That's going to be Psychology running them down one by one. the Vayne, the damage, the carry potential coming through for the side of Psychology and the side of Magic themselves as they take the fight 2-0.
Oh, alright. Thought we might have another trap kill there, but absolutely massive team fight coming out and beautiful use of that corridor. Then like Pretzel Killer is basically unkillable now on the Sejuani. Full build, has the Gargoyle Stoneplate, has the Cinder Hulk, has the Abyssal Helm, has the Warmogs, has the Deadman's. Like, we saw how much of a beating he could take there. Even Shredderman as this full build Jhin was, you know, he was only tickling him. And Elder's being started up. Gladifrock, he does have the smite.
He doesn't get the smite off though, as Psychology is the one able to pick that up. Showstopper's going to come through and Gladifrog goes down. Now it's going to be the Elder Dragon transition into Baron. You can expect it. And do they end the game with that? That is the question.
I don't know. I mean,
we are 50 minutes in, Gopherino. Something has to happen. This game has to end eventually. We can't just, I mean, I guess technically we can just keep going.
There should be a new rule where if you win a 60-minute plus game, it counts as 2 wins, since you've basically played 2 games worth of League.
Yeah, I agree. Let's just do that.
I mean, this is the 5th Baron of the game, I think.
That's insanity. And they all have gone over to the side of Magic.
Yeah, and we're just at that ridiculous late game point where people are just buying and selling stuff on a whim.
Honestly, I'm still surprised that Bobby Tarantino is holding on to his Dorn shield. Honestly. Like, okay. Like,
it's been like probably 15 minutes.
There's probably some amount of, like, big brainness that's like, oh, yeah, I'll leave it till I get my next item. But here, it doesn't even matter as the Disintegration Ray goes through. That's going to be the Glacial Prison landing onto Shredderman, and this could just be the game. That's the ADC cut out. What did we say in this game? Once the ADC is gone, the other team wins. And now they are looking to push their pressure in the mid, take down the inhib. They have the split push going to the top. That's going to be a TP. They just want to end the game.
Yeah, a beautiful pick out there. And I feel like Shredderman should have got a Guardian Angel instead of the Fandancer. Here's one last hurrah.
Yeah, that's going to be the Elder Dragon procking all over the place. You hear the dragon's roar. You feel the dragon's fire, as that is going to be an end to this smorgasbord of a game, this craziness that we saw for game number 1, and it is going to be Magic who take the win.
In a 52-minute and 10-second game with 73 kills?
Jesus.
Whew, that was a doozy, to say the least.
Yeah, I gotta say my voice is definitely feeling it after that one, but you gotta love some League of Legends, and we definitely saw a lot of League of Legends, good and bad, on the field today for that game number 1, but make sure you come back in just a few moments as we are going to be getting ready for game number 2 for you, so be right back. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Risen Esports Rampage Open Week 7 matchup between Stinkmeister Supreme and Magic. I'm your play-by-play, it's Lemons, joined by my co-caster Goferino, ready for game number 2 as Magic took a very, very crazy game number 1 that ended up going to about 52 minutes. Had to see how that game affects this draft here, as we do see the Orianna banned first, on the blue side. The set is going to be the ban for Stinkmeister Supreme, and going to follow it up with a Shen and potentially a Lucian.
Yeah, no surprise the set's taken off the table because we saw how hard that was for Scorch to deal with last game, and Bobby Tarantino was just busting his chops 24/7 in that laning phase. But I wonder if we're going to see a Wukong ban this game, because that fell through and was immediately first picked last game, and we saw how potent that was.
It was potent, but it was on the losing side, so definitely got to keep that in mind as Magic banned away the Nautilus, who I have to say played a hell of a game, early game at least, landing those max range dredge lines and able to provide a lot of CC and coverage for his team. But in the end, it didn't matter very much as they ended up losing. But another ban coming from the first game, you see the Vel'Koz taken out by Stinkmeister.
But the Senna that was banned away last game has slipped through and immediately picked up by Magic. Keep in mind, though, that the Wukong's still available. The Ornn also fell through the pick and ban, and some other power picks as well. We're going to have to keep our eyes on here as they're about to take their first pick here for SMS.
Going with something completely different from where we were thinking. It's going to be the Morgana picked up for Stinkmeister's Supreme, and see what they want to pick up for their second pick. I'm really wondering how they want to pair that Senna on the side of Magic, and how they really want to bring that into the fold this time around.
Because you always see Senna with some melee champion in that bot lane just for that fasting Senna brutality, and there are a lot of options here. You typically see the Tahm Kench, but you could see something else here that can bring a lot more potency in the late game. The Tahm Kench is just more of a, you have that free get out of jail free card, but
yeah,
when you turbo scale Tahm Kench, it's not the worst thing.
I don't know. I've been seeing this a lot more. Seeing the Xayah Morgana combo a lot more here in the last couple weeks, and I honestly really don't like it. I don't think it synergizes very well. I mean, obviously you have the Black Shield, but say you use the Black Shield and the Featherstorm comes out, it's completely useless. So, like, my biggest question to you is, do you know why this is becoming such a powerful duo? As on the other side, just real quick to throw some wrenches into the works, it's going to be a Vayne picked up by Magic.
That's going to be an interesting one, but yeah, Xayah Morgana, not 100% synergy. I mean, if you land a binding, it makes landing the read from Xayah fairly easy. Granted, though, I think Xayah isn't exactly in the best spot right now, since Essence Reaver is just kind of not the easiest item to rush, and you kind of run into the problem of, do you want to go Essence Reaver into a Zeal item so you can pump out the damage, or Essence Reaver into the Infinity Edge so you have that theoretical more damage, but you lose out on all that attack speed, which is crucial, because keep in mind, you usually aren't hitting more than 3 items in a game right now at this point. I mean, we had last game, which was slightly different, but that's what we call a bit of an outlier in the biz, so it is going to be a little tricky to deal with here, as we do have the junglers locked in.
Yeah, so it was the Gragas picked up for the side of Magic for their jungler, and the Jarvan picked up for Stinkmeister as their first series, or first part of their compositions are put together. Now, honestly, I hot and cold on Psychology's play on the Vayne. You saw the mechanical ability in some of those fights with the sidestepping, the damage, the beautiful positioning, but then you also saw him getting caught out like 6 or 7 times. So it's I want to believe in the Vayne. I want to say, yeah, this Magic, this is your comp, this is how you do it. But unfortunately, the misplays were there. So that does have to stay in your mind as we were getting through this second banning phase. On the red side, we did have the Ahri and the Casa Win taken off the board. And the Wukong and Galio are going to be taken off on the blue side. So again, a lot of calls back to the first game.
And I'm kind of surprised the Cassin was banned away, because we saw the struggle that was coming out initially on it for a Doku Master. Like, he was 1-5 at some point on that cast and just getting beat up in that laning phase 24/7 against that Wukong, and it really took him forever to really come online in that game. But even then, we still saw him every once in a while get a little cut out on that cast and absolutely blown up. So I don't know if it warranted a ban. Granted, late game, once we did hit that point, it was pretty scary. But Pantheon Echo is going to be the call here, and that's mostly going to be our mid lane matchup.
Yeah, so honestly, really like both junglers. I personally am a bigger Echo player than a Pantheon player, but I see Pantheons dominate the board way more. At least here recently. It used to be Echo, obviously, was the main carry, S+ tier, blah, blah, blah. But now it's if you're looking for that aggressive skirmisher who's going to be able to get you kills early, it's definitely looking at like that Pantheon. Now, as you mentioned earlier, the Ornn snuck through the ban phase, and here he shows up on Magic's side as the last pickup, and looks like Stinkmeister are going to go ahead and go with the answer in Kennen there.
So, SMS, they do have a lot of flex potential here still, because Pantheon could be mid, or the Kennen could be mid, and either way, it's going to be something to watch for sure. And of course, Magic can flex themselves to put Ornn or Echo in that mid lane. Could even technically see a Gragas top with an Echo or Ornn jungle. I kind of doubt it, but it is a possibility here.
I'm seeing a big difference from this game and last game, Gofrino, as these compositions are all about the team fights. And yes, you do have the Echo who can split push to an extent. You do have the Ornn who can split push to an extent. You do have a few like the Kennen. But really, you're looking at these ultimates, you're looking at these synergies for these compositions, and it's going to be all about the objective play here.
Yeah, especially since you do have picks like that Kennen, like that Pantheon, like the Jarvan, like the Gragas, like the Ornn. Those are all picks that want to start those fights around the objectives, and it is going to be interesting to see, because last game there was so much damage and so much burst across the board. In this game, it is going to be dialed back just a bit. There is still going to be plenty, but nowhere near what we had last game.
Yeah, for sure. As we are getting into the actual draft phase, we did get through the pro draft to make sure we have our compositions now. And with that being said, we did see Baron dominance coming out from Magic last game around. I do expect to see still some very strong objective play coming out from them. But my biggest thing is I want to see Stinkmeister Supreme really turn it on around these objectives. Their calls have been off. They haven't been communicating, and especially the smite has been off. And unfortunately, the big highlight for me that comes into my mind is the double jungle into the pit of Baron and no smite from either of them situation that definitely puts a little bit of focus on it. But as a whole, you have to be able to execute around these objectives, especially.
Yeah. Although, to SMS's credit, they did have fairly good early game control for those dragons, because they were able to get to that soul point. They have 4 elemental buffs to just the singular of Magic. A lot of that did, of course, come from their bot lane dominance that Shredder Men and Stuns had, but that's still something to point out.
Yeah, it definitely is, and I'm really happy to see Gladifrog on this Jarvan. He had so many good engages, but just didn't have the damage to follow it up. He had so many good calls. Ooh, that's going to be a remake. All right. Well,
I hope we don't have to remake the lobby because of that.
It says the internet was dropped. So while we get everything settled out and figured out, we'll be right back. We're going to send it to a small little break while we get this next draft set and ready for you.
fought for these lands. In the shadows and the stories of the promised land. Now to take our place beyond.
Alright, where the shit did Malzahar come from?
So I remember them saying something in chat about can I pick Malzahar, but I thought it was a joke, and I don't think I remember anybody saying anything to it, because I remember seeing the word Malzahar, or like can I pick Malzahar from Noble, but I really don't remember anything else being said. So I don't know. But I know Rando and them are probably already fucking annoyed with us hitting them up all the time, so I'd say fuck it, let's just do it, whatever.
Yeah. Plus
Hopefully
also,
Magic
it's like,
wins.
it's kind of too late for them to change that. So. And also, I mean, they picked that Malzahar in the mid lane, then had to do the second round of bans, then finish up the rest of the draft, and no one said anything. So.
Yeah. I don't know, let's just hope fucking Magic outscales psychology can carry the game. And unfortunately, if none of us were paying attention to the chat, we can't verify if they did or not.
Yeah.
But honestly, at this point, fuck it.
Yeah. Yeah, like, it does become an issue. I mean, they've kind of already locked it in and gone into game with it, so they just kind of be DQ'd after this game anyway.
Yeah, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt, though, that it's not anything malicious, because I would think that the other side would do something or say something about it. I want to say that they got a response and that they validated it, but I'm not.
Yeah, I want to say so
sure.
too, because no one really said anything about it. Because it's
But
like,
I also don't want to just assume something is going to turn into a big deal, you know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, like, I'm gonna bring it up to let the admins know, like, this might be an issue. We're not entirely sure, but it might be handy to know.
Fucking spellbook.
Mana?
Yo, come on, Magic. You gotta fucking win this, dude. You have so many strong picks.
I mean, Spellbook Malzahar was kind of a thing. I think it's been.
I fucking hate spellbook now. Like, it's okay, I guess, now that TP's been changed more, but hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back onto the Rift for game number 2 of the Rampage Open Week 7 matchup between Stinkmeister Supreme and Magic. We are going to see a nice traditional line of scrimmage here, looking like it, at least. You do have Pretzel Killer looking to go for a deep ward, more than likely. I do have to say, I really like that skin for Malzahar. Is that why they picked it? They just want to show off the new skin?
It looks cool. It looks a bit like a Pillar Man. A little bit. Either way,
I really liked. I'm sorry, a little bit of a tangent. I really liked the World Ender. I think it's World Ender skins or World something, whatever it
they
is.
only released the 3 initial skins.
Yeah, and honestly, I'm a little upset at the ones they chose this time. Like Malzahar is cool, whatever, but I don't know. I just
It
think
kind
they
of
could have
doesn't make
chosen-
sense.
They could have chosen such better models at least. But hey, that's not for us to decide. We're just here to yell over things, so we're gonna see that happen in here pretty soon.
Oh, Noble. Gonna get the first CS of the game.
Oh, spicy! Goes back, gets the sweeper, and is able to pick that up. What a wonder! What a beauty! coming out from Noble already.
Well, that is cheeky. It is going to suck for lane because he won't be having those wards from the Trinket, which is going to be kind of massive when you're facing down that Predator Gragas who can gank you so easily when your passive is down as Malzahar. And even if you do get the ultimate to just start vomiting on someone, you can only puke on one person, and when there's two people because of a gank, you kind of can't really get both of them. The flash?
Gladafrog waited over there just to make sure that Revel and Psychology came up. Now it's going to be Shredderman who's going to go down. That's going to be First Blood, not going over just yet, as Gladafrog has finally showed up. That's going to be the flash forward. Flag and Drag is going to connect. The flashes all over the place. We have 4 flashes burned in that entirety, as well as a heal and ignite. So, or 2 heals, sorry, and an ignite. So, really a ton used on this bot lane that didn't really come up with anything.
Yeah, and slightly questionable turn of events there, because it started off with stuns trying to get that flash binding as the Morgana to get that gank set up for Gladafrog, but that missed. And then Shredderman just kind of ran in solo, tanking up all those minions and tanking 2 enemy AD carries, nearly paying for it with his life. And then Gladafrog was still in the area and then went in, and nobody died. There should have been like 3 First Bloods there.
So Gladafrog got very behind on his farm and is hoping to catch that up because he sat at the Blast Brush above the bot lane and waited for Revel and Psychology to show up and get a little bit overextended so he could go in, but it didn't work out for him. So that's a lot of wasted time for a Jarvan who wants to be active early on.
And also a lost red buff.
That's gonna be Noble going down. First Blood. Oduko Master showing us why he is the master. As now on the bot side, it's gonna be Shredderman going down. Oh no, the Condemn is just off of the wall. Shredderman able to pull away.
So close there, but you don't want to see the Vayne lane bullying you out early on. That's so terrible. And mid lane, that first play goes to show, like, there's nothing Malzahar can do until he hits that level 6, until he gets that Nether Grasp, because even though he landed that 2-second silence onto Odoku Master had already used all of his abilities that he needed to. So that was just a silence that did basically nothing to stop Noble from dying there, and now 0-1 on this Malzahar. That's going to be very rough into the Yakko, who is the assassin, who can snowball off very hard from kills.
So I haven't seen that in a while. Okay, well, it just got even weirder. I was going to point out one thing about Oduko Master, but now he bought 2 Dark Seals. So he's definitely looking to exponentially increase his AP, but he has Minion Dematerializer. And I find that really interesting for an Echo, where you wouldn't take another one of those minor keystones or things like that, as now he's going in on Noble. The stun is stopped by the shield from Malzahar, but a lot of damage going down. Does use the minions to get Oduko Master to back off.
And that is immediately half of this Malzahar's health. As soon as Oduko Master got back to lane on the Echo. Might have a bit of a gank in the bot lane from Gladafrog. He is hovering in the area.
He's hovering for so long. I mean, that's gotta have been at least a minute that he's just been standing around. Not just this time, but both times here. As now Psychology is going to get rooted down. That's going to be the Dark Binding landing on the other side. It's a hot. Shredderman is going to go down. That's going to be the outplay coming from Psychology, as he's able to pick up a trade kill in this. He's going to go down here. Short actually gets out because Pretzel Killer makes it. And now it is SMS who are in some trouble. And they are getting taken.
Oh my lord. And the split focus there was so terrible coming out from SMS. It's like, had they all just dropped onto Psychology, that would have been an easy 1-for-0. But instead, Frog go off, and then Shredder was just basically 1v1ing that Vayne, because Stuns wasn't able to do anything with his abilities on cooldown and low health himself. And now you have a 0-2 bot lane, a Vayne that has a 17 CS lead. Pretzel Killer.
That's going to be Pretzel Killer getting caught. Root is there. The Dark Binding's going to land, but he gets out just in time. But can they get it? That's going to be the pickup for the W from Stuns. Now it's a Oduko Master who has to use the Chrono Break in the mid lane. And things turning around for the side of SMS. Oh,
Yeah,
that's going
but-
to be the all in there. He's going to be able to take him down. Noble, burning. That's the kill. Oduko Master showing his dominance yet again.
The dance floor is on fire tonight with all these kills, because that is now a 2-0 Echo. Like, we saw last game, he got bullied around in that mid lane as the Caston, but this game having an absolute field day as the Echo. And top lane, Bobby Tarantino seeking in yet another solo kill while there's action happening across the map. Like, call it deja vu, Lemons, but I've noticed a trend with Bobby and solo kills this year.
It really has become a trend here, and really just playing that Ornn lane exceptionally well against the Kennen, able to provide the pressure. Now to Oduko Master, who's looking for the stun, the kill. That's going to be enough. Scorch going down. You had a rough game last game. You're looking like even rougher game this time around, as they are putting the pressure in the top lane.
Yeah, and last game he had a rough time, and that was still a mostly solo experience because there wasn't too much jungle or mid laner interference in that top lane. But this game around, Rome already coming out from a Doku Master, 7.5 minutes in as this Echo who's snowballing the mid lane, and Noble can't really do much to stop him because if you push up as the Malzahar, you're just gonna kind of die again.
So apparently, this is through the grapevine, as Psychology is looking to go in there on the bot side. It is Oduko Master's anger towards his relatives that is powering his strength in this game so far.
That is a very interesting buff for this game. It does seem to be working out. Might just not be happy with some things going on. Maybe someone got the TV before he did. Who knows? Either way, though, Noble.
Oh, Noble getting dropped to about half health there from one combo by Oduko Master. And you can bet next time he has the Ignite, he's going all in yet again.
Yeah, and he might not even need the Ignite.
Oh my goodness.
That
the
is
third
a
proc.
Noble.
Oh, it's so close. That would have been so much damage onto Noble, as he's having a real rough time this time around, as well as pretty much the rest of his team.
Bot lane, there's the final
that's
hour.
gonna be final hour going in. That's gonna be Shredderman popped. Stuns is going down next. That's gonna be the third. It's not enough. They don't have the follow-up, but they were able to pick up one there on the bot lane and are gonna continue to push and gain a lead there, as Flash and Heal were both used by Psychology, and the Ignite was used by Rebel.
And so close to getting that turn back heal on the Vayne there and making it. As Noble gonna eat another combo, but going back to that bot lane, it's just so unfortunate that heals coming out from Revel Senna. Not to mention that summoner heal helped out Psychology so much there in surviving. As we are gonna see Pretzel Killer soloing out the Rift Herald here for his team. That's gonna be a very nice pickup, especially with how dominant this bot lane is and the mid lane. Like, just help either of those lanes get a kill, drop the Rift Herald, there's still plates up, and that can propel your team so far ahead in this game because you're already 3,500-ish thousand gold ahead of SMS right now. It's Magic. So
yeah, now we have had our dragon up for a good amount of time here. Nobody has really put any vision around or taken any steps to securing the dragon, which I find very interesting. But like you said, they were able to secure the Rift Herald on the side of Magic, sorry. And looking to where they're going to use that, I would definitely say the mid or the top lane, the two that big
Is this a kill?
so much. That's going to be the beautiful Nethergrass coming through, going to save him, but that's the Ignite that's going to take him. What did I say? Next time he gets Ignite, he is dead. And that is exactly what happened. Psychology on the bot side taking some good damage there. But they are going to be just fine, as Oduko Master is really showing off in the mid lane.
yeah, and it's starting to get to the point where it's not even showing off. It's just you walk into lane and he's like, time to die. Pretzel Killer, though, currently in the spot lane, level 7 on the Gragas, does have the Predator, does have the Cask.
Gladifrog is on his way
stun.
that way, so definitely got to be careful. Stuns catches him out. We are going to see again. This is exactly what happened last time. Now it's going to be the final hour popped on the other side. Stuns. Oh my goodness, the condemn. Again, that's the second time around. We're just seeing deja vus all over the place here. Go Farino, as that's another catch out onto Pretzel Killer, who is caught in the same almost exact place as he was last time.
Yeah, and just giving a little bit of gold back to this bot lane here for SMS, who really could use that. Kill does go over to stuns.
Oh no.
Darwin!
Yeah, it's a catch out. Ooh, the kill turning back over from Psychology. Unfortunately, Gladifrog was just waiting over the wall, ends up flashing over the wall, using that big summoner spell to get absolutely nothing. And then on the top side, that's going to be the solo kill coming through. If he can land the Ornhorn, that's going to be the flash coming out from Scorch. But on the bot side, Gladifrog with the misplay there, not able to help his ADC and execute that play.
If he didn't have the flag and drag combo there, Gladifrog just needed a flash over immediately to get that cap. This is a 3-0 Vayne now with that 350 gold shutdown. Just grab that and it'll bear so many fruits for your team, but he tries to hold on to it and it costs so much. Now this 3-0 Vayne has that fully completed Blade the Ruin King. 12 minutes in, that's pretty potent. Look at Shredderman. He's only sitting on that Caulfield's and the Crit Cloak, which is not where you want to be as the Xayah.
Yeah, you've got about one full item across the board here for Magic. A few pieces here and there, obviously, but definitely are feeling the strength that Magic is putting out. And really, I think the silent hero here has been the Ornn in the top lane, 2-0-1, dominating in farm, but as well as in the lane pressure, allowing his team to focus on the objectives around the map and use their lead to take the first dragon of the game.
Yeah, and that is a pretty big dragon to get. Just getting those extra resistances to deal with the potential burst that can come out from the side of SMS. And of course, it does cycle towards that next one, which is that Infernal.
Which is a little bit sad. That means that we are going to have either Ocean or the Cloud Drake as our Dragon Souls. Both very, very strong, especially with these team compositions. And oh my goodness, that press the attack on the Vayne, it was a big thing, and still is, obviously. It was a big thing like the beginning of the season, and then it fell through. And now you're just seeing every Vayne pick it up, and they are just trashing on people. It reminds me a lot of when Tristana started taking press the attack, and literally level 2, you could 100-0 somebody because of that and
Psychology?
the bomb. And now Psychology is going to get flag and drag. This is, I feel like we're seeing the same thing over and over again. Psychology getting dark binded under the tower. That's going to be the shutdown going over to the J4.
Very huge pickup, but look on the opposite side of the map. Pretzel Killer able to drop that Rift Herald in the top lane, and they're able to get that first tower of the game, which is pretty damn huge. It is going to be basically roughly equal gold with how much of a shutdown Psychology had. Stuns fancies this, though. Shredderman is here.
Waiting for the Dark Binding. Revel does flash out of it, saving that Summoner spell to the last second.
Ooh, but that is going to be a very hurtful flash to have down for Revel, because you're going to have to rely on that camouflage from the E otherwise, and if someone gets on you, like say Jarvan or a Kennen, that kind of doesn't matter because they can just see you anyways. Either way, though, good for him to get out alive, and still very dominant in the spot lane. Gladifrog!
Oh, Gladifrog might have made a bad decision here, as now Oduko Master is in. The Ornhorn has been sounded. Gladifrog going down. That's going to be the kill. Slicing Maelstrom comes out really late from Scorch, as he's going to be the next to go down. Actually doesn't, because of misplay? Okay, there we go. Duco Master flashes in, goes for it, does pop the parallel convergence, is not going to get the stun on the Noble because of the passive, but is able to stop him from going forward anymore, as the trinket is going to be used by Noble, who is looking to follow this up, does have some good damage, is trying to dissuade any further follow-up, as ooh, that was a really bad flash coming out from Noble. And you never want to flash onto somebody you can't see, because then they have all the tools in their possession. As now Shredderman's going to get caught up. That's going to be the Feather Storm going down. Final hour. Are they going to be able to chase him? Shredderman doesn't have anything left. And now is going to go down. Oh my goodness. Missing the auto attacks. Why? Revel able to pick up that kill as Psychology targeted in that fight and gets taken down.
They thought they had the kill there, but not able to secure it there, and that ultimately leads to a 1-for-1. But it's kind of more worthwhile for SMS, because sure, they weren't able to get that kill onto Shredderman, who would have really appreciated it, but you're killing a 3-in-1 Vayne in exchange for a 0 and 4 Shredder Man. So that's definitely in the favor of SM.
Yeah, it definitely is going in the favor of SMS in this part of the game at least. It's still 14-4. Still a big lead in favor of Magic, but how can they use it?
I don't know. Gladifrog is looking mid lane. Nope, just gonna start up the Raptors, and Gladifrog has not had a good game so far around. Sure, he's 2-1, but we've seen how a lot of his ganks have went, and kind of leaves him as a bit of a sad frog right now.
I like it. There's the new
Horn.
That's going to be a knock-up onto stuns as Oduko Master is coming in now. He's going to have to Chrono Breaker. He needs to get out of there. Oh my goodness, beautifully played. TP coming through finally from Noble, who goes into a world of hurt there, as now it is going to be the Nethergrass going down. That's 4 members fighting Bobby Tarantino. Oduko Master goes in for the legendary status. Is going to go down right after. Shutdown going to Scorch, but is able to pick up Shredderman on the backside of that fight.
Oh my lord, but one thing to note from that fight, which was really important, obviously the Rifter was taking the top lane. Bit of a brawl in the river actually here.
Yeah, Gladifrog is trying to go on Pretzel, but nobody's following him. Nobody is helping him out. Where's your team, my man? They finally show up, but he goes down anyways, and they were just trying to clear vision instead of helping their teammate. I guess there were just no calls in the communications, because that was a bit unfortunate from Gladifrog. He had the engage, he had the catch out, but just not able to follow it up.
Duns. That's half his health. But one thing to point out from that bot fight, though, was Psychology was just split pushing the top that entire time, and that's just netted him this massive CS lead. He already had a fairly strong one, but now at nearly 55, oof, that is a bit of a doozy.
And it's a Vayne. I think that makes it just all that much more. As we do have the Rift Herald still available on the side, the second Rift Herald, apologize, on the side of Pretzel Killer, looking to use that somewhere or take the dragon here. It is Bobby Tarantino trying to take up this bot side tower, is able to. Now he has 2 members though, he has to watch out, as that's going to be the grass coming through. That's a tanky boy, though. I don't know if you have the damage. They use all of that and not able to get anything out of it. That's a big cooldown going down for Noble.
Yeah, because, oh, there's the Ornhorn.
Ornhorn's going to be used. The knockup is going to connect. Scorch is getting almost caught. Not going to be, though.
And, Bobby Tarantino has... Oh,
Gladifrog on the top side. Going in, but didn't get the engage he quite wanted. That's going to be the engage as well from stuns using the Soul Shackles. Feather Store, that's all the ultimates here, as they are looking to take it now. Psychology's going to go down first. Is they going to be able to get the turnaround? That's going to be a kill on the stuns. 1 for 2. And then on the bot side, so much chaos. Noble and Scorch getting super, super low. The silence is there. The damage is there. They don't have the follow-up after that, though. Oh, my goodness. Noble is 1 auto attack from getting exploded.
Both of them are, actually. Because when you're this fed on Echo, it doesn't take... Oh,
no, he's going for it. Oh, the outplays! The health bars. I don't even know anymore. As the Duco Master.
Close.
Goodness.
Oh, my lord. But...
looks like Pretzel Killer going for the kill. He wants it. Gladifrog does get caught out. He is a Jarvan, though. You got to be careful. Casket comes out. He has no mana anymore, though, as Pretzel Killer is going to get duped.
Fancy feet?
I don't know if those were fancy. Those were just normal feet.
I think he's out.
He's actually going to get out. That makes me so mad for Pretzel Killer. Why?
Oh, no.
Okay, he's going to be able to get up.
Wait. Wait. No.
And he gives over the kill to Psychology, who's just baiting him now. Oh, that's so BM. Is he going to give it to Pretzel Killer? Oh, I thought after he's going to give it to Pretzel Killer for the effort. But my question is, that shouldn't have even been a thing. You have the angle on the alcove. You know that he can only come out of 2 ways. Why do you only go to one side? That's a big question to me.
I don't know. But it's actually 20-7 in kills this game. Just brutality coming out from Magic. We're going to drop their second Rift Herald of the game.
just right in the mid lane, in the middle of a fight, because why not? As the Rift Herald, Shelly number 2 did not have a chance, and
The
she goes
Shellening.
down. The Shellening did not have a chance. That hit horrible numbers in the box office, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, when the movie theaters are closed, you usually don't get big box office.
Horns here. Featherstorm's gonna have to follow that up, but it doesn't matter. You stayed in the damage, and Shredderman goes down.
Yeah, I mean,
That Echo is getting so strong.
he's
Blowing
been
through up.
so strong.
Ooh, parallel convergence. Can he get the stuns? He does get 2. Chrono Break is available. He can't get out, though. He actually does at the last second using the Chrono Break, saving it and completely acing a clean ace for
That
the
was
side
a
of
4
Magic.
versus 5.
This is all she wrote, folks. This might be the game. Actually, I don't believe so. I think they're going to push the tower and pull back, but they do have on the top lane, as you said, their Pretzel Killer is killing away up there.
Yeah, and if you want to take a quick second, click on Bobby Tarantino and look at his instances. 207 armor and 206 magic resistance.
Yeah.
This Ornn is not dying anytime soon.
He's also making a bunch of items for his buddies.
Yeah,
Well, he's
and
going to, at least. He's got
you know
one
what's-
so far.
what's scarier than a 13-on-1 Echo? A 13-on-1 Echo with an Ornn item.
Honestly, I'm very surprised they didn't give the first item to the Echo.
They don't have any items to upgrade.
Oh,
Because
very
it has
true,
to be
very
either
true.
the the
Oh my
Zonias or the
goodness, I'm
Death Trap.
crazy. Yeah, I don't know why I was thinking that I was thinking the Lichbane could upgrade. I'm crazy. I'm so sorry about
Because
that.
Iceborne and Trinity upgrade, but not Lichbane.
Yeah, I
even if they
guess
all
that.
build out a Sheen.
Now, that Zanya's is going to be coming here decently soon for him, more than likely. So, going to look for that upgrade to come through as well. But until then, you have a 25 stack Magi Soul Stealer. You have all of this AP. I just want to check real quick. He's sitting at 400 AP on an Echo. And
At
still has,
23.
still has a couple items to go. So
Yeah, and you can
you're
still
not
get a
gonna be-
Rabadon's.
That's just craziness, as it is Psychology putting up the pressure here in the jungle. They're looking to step forward while the dragon comes up in about 5 seconds. That is going to put Magic on Soul Point. And I have to see if they can use that to their advantage here, as Vayne is very far forward. You just have to be very careful.
Yeah, I mean, you may be fed as all hell on this Vayne, but 3 people will still blow you up.
Look at Duco. He's just going. He doesn't care anymore. He knows he damage. Break, and that is the most beautiful feeling as an Echo, knowing that you can just give it your all and then have a reset button 2 seconds away.
I mean, that wasn't even giving it his all. He was just like, hello, I am 13-1. Cower
Oh
before.
my! 1 E connection took half of Shredderman's health. That wasn't even a combo. It was nothing. Go for That was just pure damage.
Everything's
gonna
kind
take
of
the
pure
mid tower.
damage when you're this fed. Not gonna lie, as it's gonna be an uncontested mid inhib. Well, Noble can try and contest. Oh, here comes the squad.
That's going to be Scorch getting taken. Chrono Break is not going to be used because of all the CC. That is going to be the follow-up from the Dawning Shadow, though. Psychology is with as he's slowly but surely taking down the competition, and that's going to be a double kill going over to Psychology, and he is trying to carry his team to a victory here.
And I think that's going to be what happens exactly. Still 20 seconds on 4 of the members here. They have 2 baroned up waves with 2 baroned up cannons coming in. And speak of the opposite of last game, Lemons. Last game, 52-minute back and forth slugfest. This game, 25.5 minutes. Dom.
The power of relative hate is showing through for a Duco Master. He said his relatives made him mad, and he came in and showed it with this performance on the Echo, because holy cow, yes, he did go AFK or whatever, internet, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But he comes in and carries the game. It's all worth it.
That's true. When he restarted the internet, he restarted his laning phase mental game. And it seems to have paid off quite a bit with that 13-2 scoreline, only dying a second time in the end because an entire enemy team jumped him and he couldn't ulti.
Yeah, that was a bit rough. You could see the play was there, but it just didn't work out. Now, with that being said, though, Go Free, now we do have to choose an MVP for the series.
It is really hard because the first game was just kind of.
I'm not giving it to the ADCs. I'm telling you that right now, because that first game, the ADCs were the biggest problem. Like there was a lot of catch outs. So I don't believe that any of them get the MVP this time around. Definitely have to think it goes to somebody else. Honestly, I'm thinking Bobby Tarantino. He showed up on the set the first game. Wasn't doing the greatest, obviously, early on, but was able to kind of carry his team over the finish line there at the end with the amount of tankiness and the engage that he had. And then this time, 3-0-11 on the Ornn, silently just doing his job in the top lane and doing it effectively. That's my vote.
Yeah, I would have to give it to Bobby Tarantino too, because he was the most consistent throughout both games here. Because, I mean, mid lane for a Doku Master, sure, he was 13-2 this game, but he was 1-5 last game at some point. Pretzel Killer, he definitely had a few moments this game where he is a little too cocky and caught out. And then, of course, the bot lane last game for Magic. We kind of don't talk about their laning phase.
So my question to you is, if we had the Pantheon for Noble, would we see anything different? Because honestly, I thought his play on the Malzahar was very lackluster.
Yeah, if he was Pantheon, he would have been able to do like remotely anything when a Doku Master jumped on him. But it was the Malzahar, and even once he did finally get the Nether Grasp, that was kind of too late. And I mean, 13-2.
You can't go wrong with 13-2, baby. As we do give the MVP to Bobby Tarantino for the wonderful series that he was able to carry out, even with everything going on around him. And so I just want to see if you have any more points about this series before we head out.
It was definitely a series that covered all bases despite being only 2 games. I will give it that.
They drug us for the first one. They made sure we got our worth.
Yeah, but that's all I have for the Night Lemons.
All right. Well, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone tuning in here for Rampage Open Week 7 matchup between Stinkmeister Supreme and Magic. Magic coming up with a 2-0 victory over Stinkmeister Supreme. The first game, back and forth, ended up with unfortunately, Shredderman getting caught out. They won the game off of that fight. And then in the second game, they held it from the very beginning, getting kills early on and continuing that lead into the objectives, into the fights, into the win. So with that being said here, that was the story of the games. Be back here soon to see more games on the Risen channel, and we'll see you next time on Summoner's Rift.